Welcome to the Cyber Brief Project. This is where we explore how attackers really think, what they target, and how to see threats differently. Today, we follow the trail of chaos, a ransomware group that appears to be new, while its methods feel very familiar. It may be tempting to believe that ransomware campaigns begin with advanced malware or zero-day exploits. In this case, the attack begins with something far more ordinary: a wave of spam messages and a phone call that feels routine. So let us walk together through how this attack unfolds. Imagine an employee at work, while their inbox begins to fill with hundreds of unwanted emails. At first glance, it appears to be the usual clutter that people have learned to ignore. Yet hidden inside this flood is a phone number that seems to offer help. After becoming frustrated with the volume of spam, the employee decides to call. On the other end, someone answers with a calm and professional tone and claims to be from IT support. They carefully guide the employee to open Microsoft Quick Assist, a legitimate Windows tool for remote help. To the employee, it feels like they are solving a problem. In reality, they have just handed control of their machine directly to the attacker. Once inside, the intruder begins preparing the system. They use PowerShell commands to configure settings and Windows management tools to control processes remotely. Although everything appears normal to the victim, the computer is being quietly adjusted to allow for deeper compromise. The attacker then ensures that this access will not disappear. They install legitimate remote management tools such as AnyDesk, Screen Connect, and SplashTop. Usually these programs are used by IT administrators, and here they serve as hidden entry points. Even if Quick Assist is closed, the attacker can return through these alternate paths. From there, exploration begins. The attacker queries the system to see its network configuration, checks which domain controllers exist, lists the running processes, and identifies which users are logged in. Each command adds another piece of information to a growing picture of the environment, which becomes a detailed map of the victim's infrastructure. With this knowledge, the attacker focuses on increasing control. They query Active Directory, extract valuable user details, and capture service tickets to uncover privileged credentials. Accounts are reset, new passwords are created, and privileges are expanded. What started as control of a single workstation now becomes authority over multiple accounts across the organization. At the same time, the attacker works carefully to remain unnoticed. PowerShell logs are deleted, security tooling is weakened, and multi-factor authentication software is targeted for removal. By cutting away visibility, they reduce the chances that their activities will raise alarms. Armed with elevated access and fewer obstacles, the attacker moves deeper into the network. They connect to additional machines using remote desktop, execute commands over SMB shares, and use WMI to push processes into place. Each new system becomes another foothold, which turns a local intrusion into a network-wide compromise. The focus then shifts to data theft. Rather than creating a noisy custom tool, the attacker uses GoodSync, a legitimate synchronization application. Disguised as a Windows process, it copies only the files modified in the last year and ignores media and temporary files in order to keep traffic small and discreet. Sensitive business data begins streaming silently to cloud storage under the attacker's control. Meanwhile, the attacker creates a reverse SSH tunnel that runs over port 443. On the surface, it looks like ordinary encrypted web browsing. To make it blend even further, the attacker disables fingerprint verification. This means the SSH client accepts any server identity without question, leaving no warnings on screen and no fingerprints saved for defenders to review later. With those traces removed, the tunnel stays quiet and reliable, which gives the attacker a stable channel back into the victim's network. When all the preparations are complete, the final act begins. The ransomware launches and spreads across both local machines and network shares. It encrypts files with unique keys for each one. Shadow copies are destroyed, which eliminates recovery points. Within minutes, critical systems are locked. Every encrypted file now carries the chaos file extension, and ransom notes appear across the environment. The notes present a clear demand. The organization must pay $300,000 to receive a decryptor and a promise that the stolen data will be deleted. The attackers assure their victims that they will not return if the payment is made. The alternative is severe. Confidential data will be released, public services will be disrupted with denial of service attacks, and reputational damage will be amplified by notifying competitors and clients. Now imagine this moment inside the victim organization. Executives realize systems are locked, employees are cut off from their files, and stolen data already sits in the hands of criminals. The organization faces the double pressure of double extortion, where technical disruption is reinforced by the threat of public exposure. When we take a step back, the story of chaos becomes even more revealing. This group is not truly new. Their encryption methods, their ransom note style, and their reliance on legitimate tools mirror those of Royal, also known as Black Suit. By adopting the name Chaos, they create confusion, slow analysts, and blur attribution. The rebrand itself becomes part of the strategy, since uncertainty buys time, and time increases leverage. The lesson is clear. Ransomware groups do not always need advanced exploits or custom malware. They succeed by manipulating trust, turning everyday administrator tools into weapons, and layering pressure through encryption, theft, and the threat of exposure. For defenders, success means learning to spot activities that look ordinary but appear in unusual places. An unexpected quick assist session, a new installation of AnyDesk, or a synchronization process quietly sending data outside the network can be the early warnings that matter most. So the real question is this: when the next group surfaces under a fresh name, will you recognize the same playbook hidden beneath it? For defensive guidance and indicators of compromise, check the episode description. If this breakdown helped sharpen your perspective, share it with your peers, and subscribe for more episodes of the Cyber Brief Project. Thank you for listening.